Hey guys, today I'll show you my list for the top 10 supervillain origin stories. Number 10, Deadshot. Deadshot actually started out as what a lot of people thought to be a hero, as he moved to Gotham City and started to fight crime along with Batman and Robin. When the dynamic duo went off for a little vacay, they returned to find that the bat signal had been replaced with a bullseye. And when they found Deadshot, they had heard him say that he wanted to overthrow Gotham. So they defeated him and took him to jail, and he became known as a mercenary called Deadshot. Number 9, Magneto. Magneto, or Eric Lansher, got his powers after he was in the Holocaust. And when he lost his parents, in the First Class movie, he managed to bend the gate with his mutation, and when his mother was killed in front of him, he got so angry his mutation manifested again. Number 8, Venom. Venom is a combination of the symbiote and the host's hatred for Spider-Man and Peter Parker. The Venom symbiote was first worn by Spider-Man in the Secret Wars storyline, and he needed to get the symbiote off, so he went to a bell tower and rung it until the symbiote got off. It made its way down the tower to Eddie Brock, who's the host, and they bonded, calling themselves Venom because they believed themselves to be poison to both Peter Parker and to Spider-Man. Number 7, Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn's origins are quite interesting. She was Dr. Harleen Quinzel, a psychiatrist working at Arkham Asylum. She became fascinated with the Joker and tried to get him to tell her all his secrets. It turns out he was feeding her lies, and she believed them all. She started to fall in love with him, and when he returned to Arkham after a fight with Batman, she broke him out of there with her new identity as Harley Quinn. Number 6, Reverse Flash. Reverse Flash is the complete opposite to the Flash. A speedster from the 25th century, Eobard Thawne was actually obsessed with Barry Allen, the Flash. So much he duplicated the events that turned him into the Flash. So he was so obsessed with him, he also underwent procedure to try and make himself look like Barry Allen. But as he ran back in time to try and meet the Flash, he actually started to go mad and believed him to be the Flash. But when he didn't travel far enough, and he ended up in the past where Wally West was the current Flash. And at the time, Barry Allen was dead. So after Wally and Thawne had a fight, Thawne had managed to regain some of his sanity. Well, I say sanity, but he managed to regain some of his true self, and he actually discovered in the Flash Museum that he was born to become his greatest enemy. Number 5, Deathstroke. Deathstroke is one of the best fighters in the DC universe. Slade Wilson is his real name. He was a part of the army, and he was an expert in guerrilla warfare. Only that, he fell in love with his commander, and the two of them had a child together. When Slade's son was kidnapped, he took on the persona Deathstroke and tried to save him, but when he failed, he had returned back to his wife. But when his wife had found out what he had become, she actually shot him in the eye, which is why only one half of his mask has an eye on it, and the black half doesn't, because he has an eye patch under there. Number 4, Captain Cold. Leonard Snart was just a young boy when his father started beating him and his sister. But his grandfather was their only comfort in the family, their only source of love. But when he died, it left them in a very dark path, open to a very dark path. But when he was a teenager, he went to juvie, and when he got out, he decided to become a criminal, and he used a cryogenic cold gun as it's called, as his main weapon to perform his crimes. Number 3, Carnage. The host of Carnage, Cletus Cassidy, is a complete psychopathic serial killer. When he was only a boy, he pushed his nan down the stairs, he beat and murdered the dog, and he put a toaster in his mum's bath. He even pushed a girl in front of a bus because she laughed at him after he tried to ask her out. So when he went to an insane asylum, when he went to jail, he shared a cell room with Eddie Brock, who was the host of Venom. When the Venom symbiote returned to Brock, it broke him out. Little did he know that the symbiote had given birth to a red symbiote. So Cassidy had a little cut on his arm, and the symbiote made its way into his bloodstream, and they became known as Carnage. Carnage then went on a killing spree and burnt down the orphanage that he grew up in. And every time he killed someone, he'd write the word Carnage on the wall in his own blood. Number 2, Doomsday. Doomsday is my all-time favorite DC villain because he killed Superman. And Doomsday was actually created on Krypton long before Kryptonians had evolved. And every time that he had been created, he would have been thrown into the wilderness, and every time he died, he would come back again and could not be killed the same way twice. He got so evolved that he actually got evolved enough up to the point that he killed his creator. After that, he went on a murdering spree and made his way off of Krypton to the planet Calaton, where the beings of Calaton had created a being called the Radiant who managed to kill Doomsday. So they put him into a pod and shipped him off, well, because of the murders he had committed on Calaton made him unworthy of being buried on the planet. He drifted through space for several years until he had finally made his way to Earth, where he caught the attention of the Justice League of America, and they could not stop him. He actually managed to fight them with only one arm tied behind his back, since he could only free one to break out of his pod. He eventually caught the attention of Superman, and Superman found out that Doomsday's strength was a match for his own. Their fight was so intense that it ended up killing them both. Number 1, the Joker. Was there ever a doubt? The Joker's origin is probably the most famous ever told. The story of a perfectly sane man just going through one bad day to turn him into a crazy man. His real name was actually Jack Napier, and he got involved with some people to get him to... He got involved with some very bad people so that they could get him to let them into the factory that he worked in. With his pregnant wife at home dead, he decided that he would join, but he would have to have a different identity. He would be known as the Red Hood, wearing a red dome over his head and a red cape. But as it turns out, Batman had followed them and had chased Red Hood up to a higher platform where he was trying to get the dome off his head to show that he wasn't one of them, but he tripped on his cape and he fell into the vat of chemicals that turned his skin white, that bleached his skin white, turned his hair green, and his lips red. He made his way out through the sewer system to the outside of the factory, and there we get our first glimpse of the Clown Prince of Crime. That origin story was actually foretold in the Batman The Killing Joke, and that poster of the Joker there is the exact same one that we get of him when he's outside the factory. Alright guys, that's it, but thanks for watching, and be sure to comment and subscribe, and I will be with you next week to give you another top 10 list. See you guys later.